Hello friends, I hope you enjoyed part 1 of the video wherein I explained to you how you can basically navigate through counter-cyclical and pro-cyclical markets. Now before I begin the part 2 of this video, let's basically go through a brief run-up as to what goes on in counter-cyclical markets and towards the end of this video, what goes on towards the pro-cyclical markets. What I'm talking about is how to safeguard yourself from being pulled into trades and investments that you should not be pulled into. Do you remember after COVID when markets were counter-cyclical? I told you in part 1 video, which is available here, that the economy could be going this way and the markets could be going this way. Factories and offices were all shut, but stock markets and commodity markets were running up. So do you remember the kind of theories and bizarre theories at that were touted around by the counter-cyclical experts that invariably crop up during counter-cyclical markets? Do remember what I told you? These are very emotional times. The retail is very gung-ho. They want to make money fast. They think this can be a life-changing phase in the market where they can upgrade their lives and basically provide a better kind of a future to their dependents and have a good time themselves. So there are always vultures who are waiting out there trying to capitalize on this weakness, and human weakness cannot be willed away. You remember the kind of theories that were propagated? Super cycle in oil, $250, $300, $350 per barrel. Super cycle in natural gas, $10, $15 and even $20 per MMBTU. Super cycle in copper. Now this is something that I have written about extensively on my free Telegram channel. Do connect with me there. The contact coordinates come in the fag end of this video. But wait, the most bizarre counter-cyclical trap that I saw being laid out to retailers was, hold your breath, in lumber. Lumber is nothing but tall trees that are chopped. And nowadays they are not even chopped. You have chainsaws and electromechanical tools that lumberjacks use to basically fell those trees, and invariably those trees are on mountains and hills. Once the tree is felled, it rolls downhill, and in many cases there are streams and waterfalls that transport these fallen trees downstream, where a sawmill or a lumber mill is collecting these trees, drying them and chopping them for wood to be sold as raw material for furniture. Do you know how high lumber prices went? Take a look at this chart. This is lumber from 2020 to 2024. Ask yourself this question. Keep a hand on your heart and ask yourself this question. Were trees running out? Were lumberjacks running out? Were chainsaws and mechanical axes running out? Were rivers and waterfalls running out? Why did a natural resource like wood go up 300, 400 and almost 500 and 600%? This is nothing but a trap laid out for retail traders. And look at it as to where it has actually settled down. Today it trades at a fraction of what it was earlier. What is the kind of fallout? The fallout is not good. Not only retail traders, but even lumber mills. Normally, farmers, producers like miners, etc., do hedge the finished product because they know as to what the output is like during the year, and therefore they play in the derivative markets to hedge the output. But hold your breath. The sawmills actually believed the stories by these experts during the high greed counter-cyclical phase that lumber prices could only go up. Many of these lumber mills went long in the futures, and when futures prices collapsed, many of these lumber mills suffered losses that they could not bear, declared bankruptcy, throughout all their workers and everybody lost their jobs. Many furniture stores whose owners basically bought lumber futures because COVID meant that none of these shops were making any sales. So they said, hey, let me just trade and make some money in the market. Does that ring a bell? I hear that a lot of times nowadays. A lot of youngsters are coming up to me and saying, sir, I want to make a career in trading. I said, hey, Johnny boy, it's career, not carrier. And it's not easy. You can lose your shirt, your trousers, and the skin of your back if you do it badly, which is very often what happens. And in counter-cyclical phases, these traps for retail are dime a dozen. So let's be careful out there. Let's go on to the video. The next point is that statistical beta, which is pure price volatility, is relatively lower in pro-cyclical markets. So retail guys who are used to making outsized gains in their trades are likely to find the going a lot more challenging. Either they make smaller profits or they get frustrated, they're getting smaller profits, they're hanging on saying, hey, it's not enough, I'm going to wait till I get more. And they see the price reverse, and whatever was notionally available is also gone. It's gone, it's walked out, it's taken the bus. So this is a market where the guy who knows when to enter, when to exit, when to take the money off the table is likely to make more money. Since it's a specialist market, the specialist knows the cost of funds. This is something that I have been telling my online family. Please understand the theory of cost of funds. Please invest in sovereign debt and protect your capital from shocks. When markets go from counter-cyclicality to pro-cyclicality, you're going to see a lot of people lose a lot of money because it will be with very high volatility. When things settle down again, of course, the volatility will cease, but a lot of people would have lost money in trading. Maybe the price hasn't changed too much from one phase to the other, but the intervening volatility would have chopped a lot of people into small pieces. Remember what happened to prices on 4th of June, election result day. Remember what happened to prices on 23rd of July, budget day. And where are the prices? They're very close to where they were on 3rd of June. Not much has changed. But how many people have surrendered their positions? That is what I'm getting at when I'm saying the transition between counter to pro-cyclicality will not be smooth. So the cost of carry will be lower in pro-cyclicality phases because the specialist knows the cost of funds. He will not be stupid enough to pay the financer a lot of money to roll over his long positions. He knows his onions, he knows his tomatoes, and for that matter, he knows his soups too. Soup to nuts rather. He knows everything. He's a veteran trader. He's seen it all before. And he's not going to get emotional and pay higher charges. He will bargain. He'll stand his ground. So he'll be able to reduce his cost of trading. And that is what gives him a higher take-home profit. So typically speaking, you will see contango charges fall down during pro-cyclical phases. A little bit of position sizing. I'll come to more position sizing even later. There are two ways a trader can make 10,000 rupees from trading. System number one, buy 1,000 shares, wait for a 10 rupee move, take home 10,000 bucks. Or system number two, buy 10,000 shares, wait for 1 rupee, take home 10,000 bucks. Now, before you tell me, Vijay, both are the same. The net result is I took home 10,000 bucks and there's no difference. I would say you're completely wrong. The risk profile in both these trades is completely different. If you go wrong, your 10,000 rupee trade will knock the wind out of your lungs. If you go right, the 1,000 rupee trade will give you 10,000 bucks with lower amount of stress without you heading out for a blood pressure pill. In counter-cyclical markets which make large price moves, the 1,000 shares and 10 rupee profit is what works, which is what is in this video. How to make more money out of each trade. In pro-cyclical markets, which are relatively quieter, taking a 10,000 rupee share trade waiting for $1 makes more sense. Unless you know what is the phase and what should be your strategy of whether I should take 1000 shares for 10 bucks or 10,000 shares for 1 buck, you will never make money in this market. I'm sorry to sound harsh, but you got to understand the difference. In pro-cyclical phases, the activity of non-market participating experts reduces. They don't really have a big enough audience to market the obvious courses, mentorship programs, money management schemes, softwares, codes for oscillators, etc. Like I said, I'm not against these non-market participating experts. They actually provide me liquidity and counterparties. So I actually feel more challenged when they're not there. I actually have thanked many of these guys, even though they've whacked our research, they've put it on their Telegram channel, ad verbatim, word for word. They've basically taken screenshots of our word and just replicated it on their channels. They've turned some of our research into their training programs and mentorship courses. Now, while counter-cyclicality brings fantastic and bombastic theories like super cycles in oil and gas, metals, aluminium, etc., pro-cyclicality will bring you a very different narrative. Do remember, our markets are not about the absolute truth. I think truth went out on the bus approximately between 10 to 15 years ago. Especially after the 2008 fall, I think the markets have become a lot more sophisticated and about perception management rather than truth management. It has become more and more of a spin, a story, a perception selling, a storytelling, and a story selling marketplace rather than a reality. So you need to cut through a lot of fog, cut through a lot of smoke, which is why I told you you must look at the churn indicator. When there's an excess amount of churn, number of lots traded are more than the number of lots that are in the open interest. That's churn more than 100%. Whenever any counter goes through a churn rate of more than 100%, we guys sit up and take notice and start digging the earth. Hey, what's happening? Am I going to trade this counter tomorrow? It looks like there's something happening here. So whenever the smoke screen comes out, and the market is all about smoke screens nowadays, in pro-cyclical market, the spin, the story, and the narrative will change completely. This is a market where the more sophisticated guy will come out and start to sell his wares. Now, like I said, the pro-cyclical market is mathematical, logical, and therefore, to a certain degree, a little more complicated for a retail guy to understand. And a retail guy has a problem. What problem? He believes that the more sophisticated sounding a theory is, the more accurate it must be. Do you remember Manmohan Desai's 1977 super hit Amar Akbar Anthony? Do you remember the song where Mr. Amitabh Bachchan comes out of an Easter egg and he starts shouting or singing rather, "My name is Anthony Gonzalez." Do you remember what he says in the song? What are the lyrics? By the hemoglobin of the atmospheric pressure in the country. Is there hemoglobin in the atmosphere of any country? What was he doing that for? Because after he says that line, he keeps quiet for a while, a second maybe, and the girls are mighty impressed and they say, "Wow!" Why? Because he said something complicated. He said it confidently. He said it fast. That makes him look intelligent. Now, in pro-cyclical markets, this is what will be bandied about, thrown about a lot more often. So, while counter-cyclicality will bring the less sophisticated non-market participant trying to sell his stuff, in pro-cyclical markets, it is the more sophisticated guy, a non-market participant, who will come out to sell his stuff. He may find fewer buyers, but he charges more because it sounds complicated. There are fewer people to influence, but he still makes enough money because his rack rate is higher. Mercifully, fewer people will get impacted negatively. Remember the phase between end of 2011 to end of 2013, that classic pro-cyclical phase? That's precisely what I'm talking about. The most intelligent theories were floated around during that time. The India growth story, the great India consumption story, that sounded so complicated, which I used to write against on my Facebook page. If you're one of the online family members who've been with me long enough, will remember. Now, in this chapter, I'm going to talk about which tools will work better and I start with counter-cyclical markets. Now, because these markets make larger price moves, trend following tools will work better. And since price trends tend to last longer because they are illogical, therefore, you must keep your traditional tools in your armory. So your moving averages, trend lines, volume weighted average prices, Bollinger Bands will work well. But do remember, once the counter-cyclical market has lasted long enough, which is called mature or getting rich, do change the basic chart type from mathematical to log scale. Why? What's the difference? Now imagine the market has moved from 100 to 10 rupee appreciation every week. Now it goes from 100 to 110 the next week, 120 the coming week, 130 the next week. Fair enough. You're basically seeing it's rising 10 bucks a day. But what happens after 2 years? It's still moving 10 rupees a week, but the base effect is it's 400, so it's going to 410, 420. Is the percentage return the same? Your returns are not the same. The market has become top heavy. Log charts will tell you when the markets are looking sluggish. Sluggishness often precedes trend reversals. So your trend lines will take you out of long positions in a market which is counter-cyclical the minute the market loses steam. Can that be a whipsaw? Yes, that can be a whipsaw. Yes, you might get knocked out of position once, twice, or thrice before the markets finally turn. But because the rally is rich, I'm assuming you've already made so much money from the beginning to near the top. Even if you get thrown out with the whipsaws because you're keeping stop losses, you wouldn't lose too much money. The idea is during the transition phase between counter to pro-cyclicality, you don't want to lose too much capital. A few stop losses won't kill you. Losing big money will. So, log charts are the way to go. Fibonacci ratios will also work very well in counter-cyclical markets. Now, this chapter is about what works in pro-cyclical markets. Now, these are relatively quieter markets, so range trading techniques like channels, envelopes work very well. Fibonacci based patterns like 3 drive tops, 3 drive bottoms, Gartleys, etc., will also work as well. But please do not enter pro-cyclical market phases with zero knowledge of screen reading. You will be doing yourself, your family, and your dependents a big favor, and not just them, your own morale by learning this precious technique. A lot of non-market participating experts in my club, in my morning walking track tell me, Vijay, screen reading is an unnecessary, dying, or even dead art. Now that algos are here, now that mechanical systems are here, human beings don't have to apply their brain too much. Let machines do the work. I beg to differ. You can't not know what your tick-by-tick data is, your snapcode data is, your screen reading is, your VWAP window is, and expect to come up trumps. So, because you're going to be fighting for very small gains and small price movements, learn screen reading. Also incorporate volume price analysis for a good measure to increase your profitability percentages. Pivot points are another thing that work very well in pro-cyclical market. I have a video of how to use our pivot points, and if you are connected with me on our Telegram channel, my contact coordinates come at the fag end of this video. I give you free pivot points for the Nifty, Bank Nifty, and the Fin Nifty on a daily, weekly, and monthly time frames. Do consult them, and this video will tell you how to make use of them. Remember, come October, the number of strike prices that you're going to have in the Nifty and Bank Nifty are going to come down. You're going to have a 4% window in which the calls and the puts will be offered to you rather than the 8% window for strike prices. So you're going to have smaller number of strikes. You better be right or you're going to be dead. So pivot points help you there. Friends, in this chapter, I come to position sizing. Now, like I said earlier, in counter-cyclicality market, small move, small exposure, big price move, and pro-cyclical markets, big exposure, small price moves. Like I also said in this window, you can basically understand how to extract the maximum out of your each trade in counter markets. Now, in counter cyclicality markets, never ever average a losing trade unless you are very, very sure of what you're doing, because these are markets that are influenced. Remember, they are irrational markets. There are bigger forces at play here. And if you're losing money and you're making a double mistake of averaging your trade in a losing trade, you're providing your head and your neck into the chopping block, into the meat grinder. Don't do that. In pro-cyclical markets, what will work very, very well is your statistical and behavioral models, parameters like MWPL, churn ratio, a torque indicator, impetus, and the LWTD. I would swear by them. Of course, the pivot points, like I told you even earlier. So these will also guide you as to what kind of position sizing you need to do. Now, remember, high frequency traders, algo traders, artificial intelligence traders from the West are registering their desks with SEBI as we record this video. By 2025, you're going to have highly sophisticated, polished, deep-pocketed, rich traders from the West coming and deploying their tools here in pro-cyclical markets, because India is one of the most profitable markets due to the spreads and the options premium that we offer. Unless you match up your skills, you're going to give all the money in your pocket, which deserves to be with your family, to the foreign players. Remember, SEBI results have very clearly said 89% of retail traders are losing money, 11% of the guys are making money. And the SEBI consultation paper on which I have made this video of SEBI changing lot sizes, are you ready? In that consultation paper, SEBI has very clearly said that losses of almost 90% of these retail traders are going to the high frequency, algo, and artificial intelligence traders. It's going to get worse. Please upskill. Raise your skill level. Now, friends, for social media. You would have heard very clever sounding, remember, by the hemoglobin of the atmospheric pressure in the country. You would have heard some very clever sounding cliches in the market. Price is everything. As long as you can watch a price chart, don't need to see social media, don't need to hear voices, you don't need to monitor anything at all. To each his own. I am not a person who will ever go head on and collide with somebody's view. If I don't agree with your view, I might just walk away, but I would basically hear you and just walk off. But here I am in a very friendly and polite manner sharing my view. It's a mistake. You should be monitoring the social media. And if you give me a little while, I'll explain to you why. Now, the old school purists are guy whose belief is that the price is the purest thing possible. I agree. And that is the only thing they should be watching. I disagree. So, retail is not something the purists are concerned with. You should be, because the retail are often wrong. And eventually, when the market tide turns from counter to pro and pro to counter cyclicality, the retail is ultimately what bleeds the most. So it pays to know what the retail is doing so that you can fade their trades or play contrarian. In the 1980s, late 1980s, and definitely up to the late 1990s, you'll be surprised. I used to take my car, park it at junctions of railway stations, like typically Churchgate. I stay at Breach Candy, so Churchgate is the closest there. Park my car there, go to Borivali, because in those days the markets used to start at 12 noon and there was a public outcry system. Market shut at 2 p.m. So you had all the time in the world. Take a local from Churchgate, go to Borivali, come back in the Borivali local, keep hearing what the retail trader is talking. And then we had a restaurant called Dwarka. There were one or two roadside fruit juice vendors where all the traders used to collect after the ring used to close, and they would basically start chatting. So you basically went and stood there and overheard their chatter. On Mondays and Fridays, we would even go in the trains to go back towards Borivali and hear them what they were talking. Why Monday and Friday? Monday is the beginning of the week. They're all charged up and they are all ready to go into the market and do what they need to do. Friday is the end of the week and they're basically telling you whether they've made money or are dejected after they're losing money and what they're thinking about what to do in the following week. So it was important. Now you don't need to get your shoes dirty. You're getting all that information sitting behind a computer screen in your house with the air conditioning on with a cup of coffee. That's great. Let technology do the work for you. If you're still not convinced, you should be reading the work of Mark Hulbert of MarketWatch.com, Richard Peterson, Charles Faulkner, Dr. Roy Baumeister, who have done pioneering work in how social media can be utilized by smart traders to keep their ears to the ground and hear the hooves of horses approaching in the market. So, you know, the war cries, hey, upper circuit, and those emoticons of rockets flying, aircraft flying, or people being dejected. Oh my God, the market is falling. When is it going to shut? We can't bear the pain anymore. All these have scientific uses. If you read the US Marine Corps Survival Guide, the US Marine Corps, you will realize that the soldier in the US Marines is taught you must not waste even a dried twig in the jungle. Why? Because you could use your lighter and use that twig to light a fire on which you can cook your food. So every single scream, every single shout, every single whoop of joy or a war cry in social media is programmable in this day and age of web bots, which is what some amazing people are doing, some amazing kind of work who I am following by just using web bots to collect information from social media groups, etc., and giving you comparatively and reliable human intelligence on which way the market chatter is. Yes, it's being automated. Give it another 5 years and you will be surprised at what artificial intelligence is doing on social media. So if you're being added to a WhatsApp group, don't leave. I don't. Earlier I used to just get out, now I don't. Do remember that we traders are brain warriors. We fight and win our battles in the marketplaces with our ideas. And any idea that helps us make more money and collect 0.1% increase return on our capital is welcome. I want it. All right. So if anything, deploying another statistical model or adding another study or another module to our existing 8 modules in IBEX, our in-house statistical module, we are open to it. We don't mind double time work or overtime work. We don't mind burning the candle on both ends. We don't mind communicating on weekends on video or audio calls on WhatsApp or Skype or whatever with people who are willing to share information about how they're using web bots, software, hardware to basically program behavioral studies into discernible human intelligence. It's all welcome. Friends, it's going to be a very, very challenging market for the specialists from 2025 onwards. I wish my online family upgrades their skill and meets this market head on with complete preparedness. Friends, now that the crux of the video is done and dusted, let me just tell you what happens in the pro-cyclical phases. Now in pro-cyclical phases, as you've seen from part 1 and part 2 of this video, markets, our financial asset prices are moving in the same direction as the broad economy, which means the knowledgeable guy makes money and you really need to know your soup to nuts to be able to make money, which means the specialist. And which means that the con men cannot really fool the larger segment of the population. Does it mean that the con men will stop fooling the population completely? Hey, that's not going to happen. As long as there is money, there will always be people who will try to make money via the shortcut route. So the scam gets a little more elaborate, it gets more high-tech. They basically try to sell you magic wands, solutions that are complicated sounding. Do you remember the guy called Bernard or Bernie Madoff? Do you remember his modus operandi? I will not reveal my secret strategy of trading, but I'm making 3, 4, 5, 8, 10% return per month. And if you need to join my scheme, you need to have a X number of $1,000,000 US dollars, under which I will not take money from the retail guy. And towards the end, the game plan was even more elaborate and even more enticing. Look, I'm done. I can't take any more money. And people were actually begging of him, Bernie, please just take $50 million more. And the guy says, okay, I don't really want it, but hey, it's because it's you that I'm obliging you. So it will be the fewer people of the retail segment that will get trapped in pro-cyclical markets, but the scams will be bigger ticket because they will be elaborate, there will be a lot of technology involved, and there will be a lot of polish and finesse involved. Don't for a moment think that these kind of shortcut guys are going to disappear in counter and pro-cyclical markets. In counter-cyclical markets, since human emotion and greed is at its maximum, the scams will be crude and crass. The experts will find that out right away, but the retail might get sucked up. In pro-cyclical markets, some of the experts are also taken in. Wow, this sounds like it's complicated and therefore it must be true. Remember 1977's super hit Amar Akbar Anthony? That's what happens in pro-cyclical markets. By the hemoglobin of the atmospheric pressure in the country. These are the guys who come out and hunt for the retail guys. It pays for you to look after your own money. Friends, I draw this video to a close. I would strongly suggest that you subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already done so. Click on the bell icon to receive instant alerts about fresh videos being put up out here. In the comments segment, do let me know what you think about this video. And hey, please share my videos with your friends and family and social media groups to help me reach out to a wider audience. I write a weekly column in Livemint, and this is India's first and only leading newspaper column, media column that provides statistical inputs to its readers. Do follow me there, do read that article, as also my money control articles, which I'm providing a hyperlink to at the bottom of this video. Till we meet again in my next, this is Vijay signing off for now. Have a very profitable day ahead. Take care. Bye-bye.